You know that feeling when you recognize a face, a voice, a certain unmistakable presence, but you haven't quite connected all the dots on their journey. Maybe you've seen them deliver a steely gaze in a gritty Western, then command the screen with laugh-out-loud comedic timing, and then suddenly they're navigating the vastness of space. Well, buckle up, because today we're taking a deep dive into an actor who has truly redefined what it means to be cool and complex on screen, yet has an off-screen story full of, well, delightful surprises. We're talking about the one and only Timothy Olyphant. From a nationally ranked competitive swimmer with, believe it or not, Olympic aspirations, to an award-winning stage actor who conquered off-Broadway, from the dusty landscapes of the Wild West to a galaxy far, far away, and even taking a fascinating detour through stand-up comedy and eccentric sports reporting, Timothy Olyphant's career is an absolute masterclass in versatility. Our mission today is to thoroughly unpack the intricate layers of his fascinating life and career, pulling out the pivotal moments, the iconic roles he almost missed, and the deep convictions that have steadfastly guided his often unconventional, yet undeniably unique, path in Hollywood.
And we've truly explored a comprehensive look at his life and work, providing us with a rich and varied tapestry of experiences to draw from. One striking aspect here, is how Oliphant consistently navigates the demanding and often fickle entertainment industry entirely on his own terms. It's quite something. We'll trace his truly unexpected origins, how he meticulously defied early typecasting, the defining roles that resonated so deeply with audiences, and the surprising personal details that revealed the truly intriguing man behind those intense, often laconic characters. Get ready for some genuine aha moments as we peel back the layers of this singular talent's remarkable journey.
Okay, let's unpack this right from the very beginning, because it truly sets the tone for how unconventional his entire journey has been. Timothy Olyphant, the quintessential modern Western hero, often seen on screen embodying rugged individualism, a steely-eyed stare, and a very particular kind of gravitas, was actually born in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Right. Not exactly the dusty plains of Kentucky or the desolate badlands of the Dakotas, is it?
No. It's a far cry from the rugged landscapes of Deadwood or the sun-baked hollers of Justified.
That initial geographical displacement is indeed fascinating. While he was born in the tropical paradise of Honolulu, his family moved to Modesto, California, when he was just 2 years old. So his formative years weren't spent on the beaches, but in California's Central Valley, which is, a different world entirely. However, the truly striking detail from his early life, and one that gives us an unexpected glimpse into his background, is his family tree. He is a direct descendant of the incredibly prominent Vanderbilt family of New York.
Vanderbilt, really?
Yes. His paternal fourth great-grandfather was none other than Cornelius Vanderbilt himself, the railroad and shipping magnate who, as we know, built one of America's greatest fortunes. This isn't just some distant, fleeting connection. It links him to a deep lineage of immense wealth, influence, and a foundational place in American history. Far removed from the working class, often rebellious characters we typically associate him with today.
Wow, that's unexpected.
And beyond this connection, he also has deep Scottish roots, with an ancestor, Dr. David Olyphant, serving as a Director General of the Southern Hospitals during the American Revolutionary War. His third great-grandfather, David Olyphant, and great-great-grandfather, Robert Morrison Olyphant, were both prominent businessmen in their own right, further highlighting this rich historical and aristocratic background. It immediately suggests a depth and an unexpected foundation to his persona, making you wonder how that inherent history, perhaps a certain quiet confidence or an independent spirit, might subtly influence his work and his approach to life.
Absolutely. It adds another layer of intrigue to the man who had become, a modern cowboy. And before he was even thinking about acting, before any of that, he was seriously competitive in the world of swimming. This wasn't just a casual hobby or something he did for fun. He was an elite athlete, a finalist at the prestigious 1986 Nationals in the 200-meter individual medley.
That's serious business.
It really is. To reach that level in a national competition requires an incredible amount of discipline, relentless training, and immense mental fortitude. It speaks volumes about his innate drive, his capacity for hard work, and that intense competitive spirit he clearly possesses.
Indeed, his talent was undeniable. He was recruited by the legendary USC Trojans swimming coach Peter Dolland, a figure revered in collegiate swimming circles. To be scouted by Dolland was to be marked as a truly elite athlete, a testament to Olyphant's incredible discipline and raw physical prowess. He initially wanted to study architecture at USC, which is a demanding program in itself.
Right.
But he was told quite directly and perhaps a little bluntly, Timothy, that won't fit your intense training schedule as a Division I athlete.
Oh. The classic athlete versus academics dilemma.
Exactly. This highlights a profound crossroads in his young life. An intense passion for a sport demanding absolute commitment, now colliding with burgeoning academic interests. It raises an important question for us, the listener. How often do these early, intense passions, even if they are eventually abandoned, shape the discipline, the focus, and the resilience that come to define a future career?
That's a great point.
The mental toughness required for competitive swimming, the ability to push through discomfort, to set ambitious goals, and to work tirelessly towards them, often in solitude, these are all qualities that would undoubtedly serve an actor exceptionally well in navigating the often challenging, rejection-filled, and highly competitive landscape of Hollywood.
And it wasn't just the discipline that defined him. There's a remarkable coda to his academic journey that speaks volumes about that deep-seated commitment we just discussed. He left USC one elective shy of a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree.
So close.
Right. You think, oh, well, he just moved on, got busy with life. But then almost 30 years later.
30 years, wow.
Yeah. During the quiet disruption of the COVID-19 pandemic, he actually returned to finish that degree with an online course.
No way. That's amazing.
Isn't it? That's an incredible, almost poetic, full-circle moment. It demonstrates a remarkable commitment to finishing what he started, even decades later, and perhaps speaks to a personal value he places on completeness or formal education, regardless of its immediate practical application to his superstar acting career.
Definitely. It's almost a quiet defiance of expectation, isn't it? A testament to an inner drive that goes beyond Hollywood's transient demands, showing a man who values personal achievement over public perception.
It absolutely is, and it adds such a fascinating layer to our understanding of his character. So with that intense swimming career winding down and that academic chapter left momentarily open, what actually led him to acting? We know he considered other paths, like commercial art, and even coached swimming at Irvine Nova Aquatics.
Yeah, which seems like a natural extension of his athletic background, keeping him connected to that world.
It's fascinating how often we see athletes transition into acting, almost as if that competitive fire finds a new stage. But for Olyphant, it wasn't a direct leap. He eventually moved to New York, the vibrant heart of the performing arts, to explore other options. And here's a surprise for men.
Oh, what now?
For a significant 6-month period, he immersed himself in the challenging and often brutal world of stand-up comedy.
Stand-up, Timothy Olyphant.
Yep. He dabbled before he admitted in college, but this was a real, deliberate commitment, a direct foray into the raw, immediate, and demanding arena of live performance. Imagine the future Raylan Givens, with that steely gaze and dry wit, honing his timing and stage presence in dimly lit comedy clubs.
Facing down hecklers?
Exactly. Facing down audiences night after night, learning to connect, to read a room, and to command attention purely with his voice and presence.
That experience, though not directly acting, must have been an incredible crucible for developing his unique blend of charm and understated menace.
Totally. The shift to acting itself was almost serendipitous. He took an acting class as an elective in his final year of college and found it really enjoyable, a surprising discovery after such a focused athletic career.
Just fell into it, almost.
Kind of. This initial spark, combined with his desire to explore new avenues and that foundational stage presence from comedy, led him to complete a rigorous 2-year acting program at New York's William Esper Studio.
Ah, so formal training, too.
Right. This formal training, rooted in the Meisner technique, laid the crucial groundwork for his professional career, providing him with a structured approach to his newfound passion.
So it's a unique blend. Then formal training, raw, immediate performance experience from stand-up, and that deep physical discipline from swimming. Quite the cocktail.
So with that impressive and unique foundation under his belt, an elite athletic background, a stint in stand-up, and rigorous acting training, his professional debut came swiftly. He hit the off-Broadway stage in 1995 with The Monogamist, for which he won the prestigious Theatre World Award for Outstanding Debut Performance.
Wow, right out of the gate.
Immediate, high-level recognition. It wasn't a slow build. He landed a significant award for his very first professional stage role.
That kind of instant validation, especially after such a demanding athletic career, must have been a powerful signal, wouldn't you say?
It certainly speaks to an undeniable natural talent and a compelling stage presence that was evident from the start.
And for those unfamiliar, off-Broadway, it refers to professional theatrical productions in New York City staged in smaller venues than the grand Broadway theaters, often a crucible for new talent and more experimental, character-driven work.
So this wasn't just a small local play, it was a significant debut in a highly competitive scene.
He quickly branched into film and television following that early stage success. His film debut was in The First Wives Club in 1996, where he played a young, eager director, a relatively small but memorable part alongside Hollywood legends.
I remember that.
Yeah, and a particularly interesting early stage role that showcased his burgeoning comedic flair was originating Crumpet the Elf in the Santaland Diaries in 1996.
Trumpet the Elf. Seriously.
Seriously. A one-man play based on David Sedaris's sardonic essay about working as a Macy's department store Christmas elf. Critics like Ben Brantley of the New York Times noted his charming portrayal, though even he admitted that finding a consistent narrative style for such a unique piece was a challenge for any actor.
I bet.
Howard Kissel of the New York Daily News remarked that Olyphant delivered all the drollery with a perfect deadpan and a twinkle, while David Patrick Stearns of USA Today described him as an excellent young actor who successfully projects the world weariness of a young 20-something who slowly evolves into somebody who just might believe in Christmas.
Huh. That showcases his early range, moving from a serious dramatic debut to a comedic one-man show,
Wow.
setting the stage for his versatility.
Absolutely. He also made his television debut in the pilot of the CBS spy series, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the same day. The First Wives Club was released, had a guest appearance in High Incident, and minor roles in films like A Life Less Ordinary and the TV film Ellen Foster. It was a period of rapid, diverse work, really laying the foundation for his screen presence.
So it seems like in his early years on screen, he began to develop a particular niche. He was often cast in supporting villainous roles, almost becoming typecast as the charming yet dangerous bad guy.
The charming bad guy, yeah.
Scream 2 in 1997 is a great example of this, where he plays a film student who, in a classic horror twist, turns out to be one of the killers.
Classic.
He called that role a gift because, as he put it with typical humility, I had virtually nothing on my resume at that point. It was an unexpected opportunity that truly launched him into wider recognition, despite the villainous nature of the character.
This period of playing bad boys and antagonists was absolutely crucial for him because it allowed him to develop a distinctive style and a compelling screen presence, infusing these characters with what one critic described as a wild-eyed flair.
It became his signature for a while.
Totally. His portrayal of a drug dealer in the cult comedy Go in 1999, for instance, earned him widespread positive notices and became something of a breakout. Janet Maslin of the New York Times noted the role was played with offbeat flair, and Todd McCarthy of Variety described it as a deftly etched performance, highlighting the memorable quality he brought to it.
Go was great. He was fantastic in that.
So impactful that he even won a Young Hollywood Award for Best Bad Boy in 2000, solidifying that early image of a charismatic antagonist. He wasn't just playing bad guys, he was making them undeniably charismatic, unpredictable, and memorable, often with a mischievous glint in his eye that suggested intelligence beneath the menace.
Right, there was always something more going on there.
Exactly. He followed this with a leading performance in The Broken Hearts Club in 2000, which critics noted was better than the film deserved due to Olyphant's inherent charisma.
Yeah.
He also played a detective in the high-octane action film Gone in 60 Seconds, humorously noting the challenge of playing second fiddle to a car.
I can see that.
With his performance reminding one critic of a young Bill Paxton, bringing a grounded humanity to a genre film. This era also included supporting roles in Rockstar, Augie Rose, Head Over Heels, and even a short film called Doppelganger. It's a significant body of work that established a certain persona, even in smaller parts, setting the stage for bigger things.
And speaking of choices that could have completely rewritten Hollywood history, we have to talk about a role he famously turned down, one that launched a multi-billion-dollar franchise for someone else.
Oh, here we go, the big one.
He was offered the starring role of Dominic Toretto in a film then titled Red Line, which, as we all know, later roared into cinematic history as The Fast and the Furious.
It's almost unthinkable now, isn't it, given the iconic status of that franchise and the global phenomenon it became?
Indeed. The story, now a legendary anecdote in Hollywood, goes that the studio reportedly told producer Neil H. Moritz, quite unequivocally, if you can get Timothy Olyphant to play that role, we will greenlight the movie.
Wow. That's enormous confidence in his early star power and potential as a leading man.
Huge. But Olyphant remarkably declined.
Declined. Why?
He reflected later, with a healthy dose of retrospective humor, that he thought it would be stupid and would bomb at the box office.
Oh man, famous last words.
Right. The role, of course, famously went to Vin Diesel, and the franchise, defying all initial expectations, became a massive global phenomenon, with 9 sequels to date, grossing billions of dollars worldwide.
It's a striking example of an actor's intuition being completely off the mark financially. Yet it also speaks volumes about his criteria for choosing projects at the time.
Yeah, maybe a focus on material he found genuinely compelling or intellectually stimulating, rather than simply perceived commercial potential.
It begs the question of whether he prioritized the artistic over the potentially blockbuster level and what that says about his career philosophy.
And he's reflected on passing on a lot of roles, not just that, saying he passed on enormous opportunities, but also that he felt he got away with some things.
How so?
Because I've been able to work for a long time, and I haven't had to deal with any kind of fame issues.
Ah, that's a truly fascinating perspective. Career longevity versus instant megastardom.
Exactly. Suggesting that perhaps this path, despite the missed blockbusters, was actually a deliberate choice, or at least a fortunate outcome of his choices, that allowed him to maintain a certain level of privacy, creative control, and a steady, fulfilling career trajectory.
He didn't chase the big machine, and that might have allowed him to develop his craft in a way that truly served his artistic vision. Interesting take.
And despite those missed blockbusters, which in hindsight might seem like significant forks in the road, he received widespread praise for his 2004 performance as a porn film producer named Kelly in The Girl Next Door.
Ah, yes, Kelly, a memorable character.
A role that allowed him to truly shine and combine many of the bad boy traits he'd been cultivating. Interestingly, he was initially reluctant to even audition.
Why?
Thinking he was too similar to past roles where he'd played charmingly nefarious characters. He worried about being pigeonholed.
But his manager, with a very practical and astute observation, reminded him, Timothy, not many people actually saw those movies.
Good point. And she was right. A wider audience hadn't fully experienced that specific facet of his talent.
The critics, however, definitely saw this movie and absolutely loved him in this role. Mick LaSalle of the San Francisco Chronicle described Kelly as a leering, magnetic, frightening, glad-handing, easily amused, hypersensitive, utterly deceitful, maddeningly likable wild man.
That's quite a description.
He added, when Olyphant is on screen, there's the feeling that things might go anywhere. A.O. Scott of the New York Times called it throwaway inventiveness, an acknowledgement of the casual brilliance he brought to the character.
Throwaway inventiveness, I like that.
And Joe Layden of Variety highlighted his impressively deft balance of hearty amiability and understated menace in what was widely called a scene-stealing turn.
This performance truly showcased his ability to bring immense complexity and magnetism to even morally ambiguous characters, proving he could elevate material and make these bad boy types undeniably compelling.
It was a breakthrough that leveraged his previous typecasting, but with a more polished, nuanced, and critically acclaimed result, marking a significant step forward in his dramatic range.
We also saw him in other films around this time, like Coastlines, where he played an ex-con with a 1,000-yard stare, a man apart as a ruthless drug dealer.
Right.
And in Stephen King's psychological horror film Dreamcatcher. These roles further solidified his ability to embody complex, often intense characters, setting the stage for his next, truly iconic transformation.
Now, we've talked about his bad boy phase, a period where he honed that magnetic menace. But the industry and audiences were about to see a profound transformation.
Yes. This is where a wider audience truly took notice, where the charming villain was reborn as the brooding, righteous lawman.
His casting as Sheriff Seth Bullock in HBO's acclaimed Western Deadwood, which aired from 2004 to 2006.
This role didn't just expand his range, it completely shifted his public perception, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Suddenly, the bad guy was the unwavering, if deeply conflicted, symbol of justice.
Absolutely. It was a pivotal, almost seismic shift for his career. As Matt Zoller Seitz of Vulture insightfully noted, Olyphant had been somewhat typecast as a talkative, Jack Nicholson-styled, funny bad boy, a persona he wielded with great effect.
He was good at it, too.
He really was. But Deadwood gave him this incredible opportunity to play a diametrically opposed character, a righteous, brooding lawman, embodying a raw intensity and a coiled, barely contained fury. The show's visionary creator, David Milch, specifically chose him for this, explaining, Bullock's uprightness is an alternative to going medieval on people. You can see that same fire and that possibility in Tim, even at his most genial.
That's fascinating insight from Milch.
Milch further elaborated that Olyphant brings alive the idea of thoughts too deep for words, because he's a guy that doesn't let himself be known easily. This speaks directly to his masterful ability to convey deep internal conflict and a rich inner life without needing a lot of dialogue.
Which perfectly suited the laconic or sparingly spoken nature of a classic Western hero.
Exactly. When we say laconic, we're talking about an actor who uses very few words, often choosing silence and subtle physical cues over lengthy dialogue. And Olyphant is a master of this.
He really is. Communicating Bullock's simmering rage or profound disappointment, not with a shout, but with a slight narrowing of the eyes, a subtle clenching of the jaw, or a stillness that suggests immense, barely contained power.
It's an acting technique that demands incredible control and precision, making every single gesture or glance incredibly potent and impactful for the viewer.
And critics were absolutely effusive about his work on Deadwood, recognizing the profound depth he brought to the character. Matt Feeney of Slate described Bullock as laconic, feral, hot-tempered, and a little vain, saying the character was not so much played as embodied by Olyphant.
That's high praise indeed, suggesting complete immersion.
Alan Sepinwall found his performance fierce and commanding, noting how he could convey so much with so little.
Jeremy Egner of the New York Times added that he showed a capacity for explosive, nuanced performance barely suggested by earlier roles, recognizing this as a true breakthrough.
The entire ensemble, including Olyphant, was even nominated for a Screen Actors Guild Award in 2006 for outstanding performance by an ensemble in a drama series.
Deservedly so. It truly marked a turning point, showcasing a dramatic depth and gravitas that many hadn't fully appreciated before, solidifying him as a serious dramatic actor.
What's truly fascinating here, and quite telling about Olyphant's character, is his surprising humility about his own performance in Deadwood.
Oh yeah, this part is interesting.
Years later, despite the widespread critical acclaim, he remarked that the show almost has done more for me since we wrapped than while it was on.
Right.
Stating with characteristic earnestness that he's much better at my job now because of the things I learned while doing it.
But then he also said,
frankly, the show is much better than my performance. I wasn't operating at that same level as Ian McShane, referring to his esteemed co-star.
Which is incredibly humble, given how lauded his performance was. It encourages critical thinking about an actor's self-perception versus critical acclaim.
Definitely. Despite widespread praise and a career-defining role, his internal barometer for his own work seems to be incredibly high, driving a continuous desire for growth and improvement.
It's a rare and admirable quality that an actor, even in a critically adored role, can look back and find areas for personal development rather than resting on past laurels. It speaks to a profound artistic integrity and a relentless pursuit of mastering his craft.
So, after Deadwood wrapped somewhat abruptly, as many fans will recall, he made some interesting career choices, appearing in big-budget action films like Live Free or Die Hard and Hitman.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shift.
We hear this wasn't purely an artistic pivot, but was driven by a very practical and understandable concern.
This raises an important question that many creatives face. How much does personal circumstance and financial necessity influence artistic choices?
Right.
Olyphant openly admitted that his job choices during this period were made for purely financial reasons.
He just bought a house, hadn't he?
Exactly. Just bought a house mere weeks before Deadwood's unexpected cancellation, putting him in a position where he needed to secure steady income for his family. In Live Free or Die Hard, he played the villainous cybersecurity expert Thomas Gabriel, going toe-to-toe with Bruce Willis.
A classic action movie villain role.
Yeah, and both he and Willis have publicly stated that his role was initially underwritten in the script, meaning the character lacked a clear arc, detailed motivations, or compelling dialogue on the page. It was a blueprint that needed significant fleshing out.
So they had to build it up themselves.
Pretty much. For Olyphant and Willis to collaboratively develop Thomas Gabriel meant they likely improvised dialogue, explored nuanced backstories for his villain, and perhaps added specific physical tics or mannerisms that weren't initially in the script, transforming a two-dimensional antagonist into something far more memorable.
And critics noticed.
They did. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone declared him a master at smiling menace, while Mick LaSalle found him perfectly ice-cold, highlighting his ability to elevate even a functional villain. However, his next major role was taking on the lead in Hitman, a video game adaptation, replacing Vin Diesel just 6 weeks before filming.
That's a quick turnaround.
Very. He reluctantly agreed to shave his head for the part, a physical transformation that spoke to the role's demands. While the film was commercially successful, grossing over $100 million, it received largely negative reviews.
Yeah, I remember it not being well received critically.
No. Many critics feeling Olyphant was reduced to glowering and posing with pistols and, strangely, at times ridiculously miscast, unable to fully embody the character in a way that satisfied either critics or perhaps even himself.
No.
This period clearly shows the tension between the very real need for financial stability and the desire for creatively fulfilling work, a perennial dilemma for many in the industry.
It sounds like the Hitman experience in particular, despite its financial success, prompted a significant change in his approach to project selection. Like an artistic reckoning that he needed to be more discerning moving forward.
Indeed, that experience proved to be a powerful catalyst. He noted that Hitman motivated me to take a little more responsibility with what I was doing, reflecting on a part of him that felt, what am I doing here? Is this truly serving my craft?
A moment of clarity, perhaps?
Seems like it.
Yeah.
This renewed sense of purpose led to a deliberate shift toward more challenging and engaging roles, where he could truly bring his talents to bear. We see this in films like High Life, a critically praised but little-seen independent heist comedy where he played a complex morphine addict, with Variety praising his terrific performance, recognizing the nuanced character work.
Right, getting back to more complex characters.
Then he took on a starring role as a possible serial killer in the thriller, A Perfect Getaway, where critics like Manohla Dargis of the New York Times enjoyed the regrettably underemployed actor's work.
Regrettably underemployed, that says something.
And Ty Burr of the Boston Globe found him delightfully confident, earning him a Toronto Film Critics Association Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. This period shows a clear, deliberate shift toward roles that demanded more nuanced performance and artistic engagement, moving away from purely financial choices.
Makes sense.
This commitment ultimately led him to a significant recurring guest role in the FX legal thriller Damages as a morally ambiguous love interest for Rose Byrne's character.
Oh, he was great in Damages.
Yeah, a role Byrne herself cited as her favorite guest star, praising his enigmatic charm. He also appeared in an episode of My Name is Earl and had supporting roles in the intense Iraq War drama Stop Loss, the comedy Meet Bill, and made a guest appearance on Samantha Who. This was also the time he starred as the town sheriff in the horror film The Crazies, earning praise for his saturnine screen presence and smart, stoic, and sympathetic portrayal.
Effectively setting the stage for his next, truly iconic lawman role, one that would cement his legacy.
Exactly. Which brings us to Raylan Givens.
Here's where he truly cemented his legacy, taking everything he'd learned about projecting a complex blend of charm, danger, and quiet gravitas, and putting it all into one iconic character. Starring as Deputy U.S. Marshal Raylan Givens in FX's critically acclaimed series, Justified from 2010 to 2015.
The perfect role for him, really.
This character is almost universally described as the defining role of his career, the one that perfectly encapsulated his unique talents. So, what made Raylan Givens so special, and why did it resonate so profoundly with audiences and critics alike?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, Raylan Givens wasn't just any character. He was a creation of the legendary novelist Elmore Leonard.
The master himself.
Appearing in several of his stories like Fire in the Hole, Pronto, and Writing the Rap, Leonard was deeply involved as an executive producer on Justified and famously became a personal friend to Olyphant. So much so that he was inspired by Olyphant's portrayal to write his final novel, Raylan, specifically with Olyphant's voice and mannerisms in mind.
That's an extraordinary collaboration between author and actor. Incredible.
It really is. Oliphant himself was drawn to the character's ease and the charm and the sort of old-fashionedness, embodying a kind of classic Western hero, a modern-day gunslinger in a cowboy hat and slick boots. But what's truly compelling and central to the character's appeal is that Olyphant famously didn't consider Raylan a good guy despite his lawman status.
Interesting. He saw him as more complex than that.
Definitely. He saw him as a morally ambiguous figure, driven by a complex, sometimes brutal code of honor. This nuance, a man of justice who operates in morally gray areas, whose charisma is matched by his capacity for violence, and who is profoundly shaped by his troubled Kentucky roots, is precisely what critics championed, and what made the character so endlessly fascinating and addictive for viewers. He was a hero, yes, but one constantly grappling with his own darker impulses.
And critics were quick to draw comparisons, seeing him as a younger Clint Eastwood, praising his steely gaze, zen interior, and matinee looks that harken back to classic Western archetypes.
High praise indeed.
Daniel Feinberg, a highly respected television critic, noted with great precision that he gets a lot out of little. His performance is about potential energy or potential violence. And Olyphant does intense and coiled to perfection.
That captures it perfectly. Intense and coiled.
Matthew Gilbert of the Boston Globe added that it's hard to imagine any other actor in the part, as Olyphant milks Raylan's smooth, laconic cowboy style for as much wry humor as he can. He is riveting without a lot of noise. Both his body language and his conversation are pared down, and yet his presence is always resonant.
It's clear that this role allowed him to fully embody a complex hero, one who could be charming, dangerous, and deeply principled all at once, often with just a look, a subtle shift in posture, or a perfectly timed, dry-witted remark.
He became Raylan Givens, a rare feat.
Despite receiving a Primetime Emmy Award nomination in 2011 for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series, Justified and Olyphant were often perceived as being snubbed by Emmy voters throughout its critically acclaimed run.
Yeah, that always felt strange. It garnered immense critical love and a devoted fan base, yet often missed out on the highest awards.
It raises an important question. Why might such a critically acclaimed and beloved performance, one that garnered so much praise, be overlooked by major awards bodies? What dynamics are at play when a certain kind of acting isn't recognized by the traditional mechanisms of accolade?
Matt Zoller Seitz offered a compelling suggestion that really speaks to the very nature of Olyphant's acting style and why it might have been missed by some. He argued that it was the kind of performance that almost nobody recognizes as acting. It's an old-fashioned movie hero performance in which much of the emotional action is internal and articulated with great subtlety.
Right. It doesn't scream, "Look at me acting."
Exactly. Robert Bianco of USA Today echoed this sentiment, commenting that his masterfully complete immersion in the role seems to have masked the talent expended playing it.
This speaks to the challenge of recognizing understated brilliance. Sometimes the most effortless-seeming performances, those that feel utterly natural and lived in, are the hardest for voters to categorize as acting, in the traditional, more demonstrative sense.
But paradoxically, they are often the most impactful and authentic, making the character feel truly real. It's a testament to how deeply he inhabited Raylan, almost disappearing into the role.
And what stands out to you, beyond his incredible performance as Raylan Givens, about his work on Justified, considering the sheer dedication involved? Because it wasn't just about showing up and delivering lines for Timothy Olyphant.
No, absolutely not. It's his profound commitment to the overall show, the holistic approach he took that truly impresses me. He also served as a co-executive producer on Justified.
Right, he had a bigger role behind the scenes, too.
Yeah, actively working with showrunner Graham Yost, who, for those listening, is essentially the head writer and executive producer, steering the entire creative vision of the series and the writing team on storylines. He even came to set on his days off to work with guest stars, ensuring consistency and quality.
Wow, that's dedication.
He wasn't just an actor delivering lines. He was integral to shaping the narrative, the tone, and the overall quality of the show. He even described producing as the greatest thing about this job, highlighting how much he enjoyed that collaborative behind-the-scenes influence.
And Graham Yost himself backed that up.
He did. Yost highlighted Olyphant's influence, saying, "Tim is the biggest reminder for everyone that we're in the Elmore Leonard world, and that it needs to be funny and dark and twisted, and it needs to speak with all of those voices at the same time."
That clearly shows a deep commitment to the creative process, far beyond just delivering lines, ensuring the show maintained its distinctive, pitch-perfect tone and quality.
For which Justified was deservedly awarded a prestigious Peabody Award in 2011, a testament to its excellence in storytelling.
And despite Justified's dramatic intensity and often grim themes, Olyphant also made memorable guest appearances in comedies during this period, truly showcasing his remarkable range.
Oh yeah, gotta love his comedy work.
And willingness to step outside the dramatic intensity he had become known for. We're talking about beloved shows like The Office, The Mindy Project, and even the animated series Archer, roles that really allowed him to flex his comedic muscles and remind audiences of his innate charm and timing.
His memorable role as the dashing paper salesman, Danny Cordray, in 2 episodes of The Office came about because Mindy Kaling, a writer and actress on the show, specifically pushed for him to be cast.
Ah, good call by Mindy Kaling.
It's a testament to his undeniable charm and comedic aptitude that he could seamlessly step into such an established and beloved comedy and make such a lasting impression, even with limited screen time.
And in a wonderfully self-aware move, he actively sought out his love interest role on the Mindy Project.
He did. He just asked for it.
Pretty much, literally telling Kaling he wanted to be on the show, and later saying he would have happily played his middle-aged skateboarder character for years.
That's great. It highlights his willingness to embrace lighter, self-aware comedic roles and his clear enjoyment of that genre, demonstrating a playful side to his formidable acting skills.
He also lent his voice to a character in an episode of The League and in the animated series Archer, further showcasing his vocal versatility. It really illustrates how he strategically balanced intense dramatic work with refreshing comedic turns, proving he was more than just a brooding lawman.
His versatility wasn't just limited to live-action television and film. He also lent his distinctive voice to projects like the acclaimed animated film Rango in 2011.
Right, Rango. That was a fantastic role for him. It further expanded his repertoire and demonstrated how his unique vocal qualities and inherent gravitas could bring characters to life in an entirely different medium.
In Rango, he voiced the Spirit of the West, a character that was a clear and brilliant parody of Clint Eastwood's iconic man-with-no-name persona, an almost mythical figure in a Western.
Perfect casting.
Director Gore Verbinski cast him after literally overhearing him speak on television, realizing, that's our guy. Because, as Verbinski put it, Timothy has such a great quality to his voice.
It's remarkable how his natural vocal cadence, that signature understated delivery and inherent gravitas, made him perfect for embodying an almost mythical Western figure, even in animation.
He also lent his voice to the character Sergeant First Class Grinch in the video game Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3 in 2011, further cementing his appeal across different media.
So he was everywhere.
Pretty much. Beyond voice work, this period also saw him in live-action film ventures such as I Am Number 4, the improvisational comedy Dealing with Idiots, and a memorable performance opposite Tina Fey in the ensemble comedy drama This Is Where I Leave You.
Oh yeah, This Is Where I Leave You.
In that film, David Adelstein of Vulture commented that Olyphant has given life to head-slappingly bad material, and he does it again by simply underplaying.
Huh. Backhanded compliment, but shows his skill.
Showing his exceptional ability to elevate a role even in a mixed-reviewed film through sheer presence and nuance. This period truly demonstrates a strategic balance of high-profile dramatic leads, refreshing comedic relief, and diverse voice work, all while maintaining a personal commitment to the quality of the material he chose, even when the material wasn't always top tier on the page.
Okay, so moving into the mid-2010s, we see Timothy Olyphant continuing to evolve, embracing metacomedy, and making a significant return to his theatrical roots.
That's right. In 2015 and 2016, he took on a recurring guest role in The Grinder, playing a fictionalized, exaggerated version of himself, a Hollywood actor who was once a lawyer.
Playing himself, always tricky.
And he absolutely nailed it, earning him a Critics' Choice Television Award for Best Guest Performer in a Comedy Series.
This was a brilliant, truly inspired turn, indeed described as Emmy-deserving by Robert Bianco of USA Today. It showcases his remarkable comfort with self-parody and a genuine willingness to play with his own image, even poking fun at his established persona.
That ability to be in on the joke, to make light of the absurdity of celebrity, makes him incredibly relatable and engaging to audiences.
Takes confidence.
For sure. And in 2016, demonstrating his deep commitment to the craft and his theatrical roots, he made a significant return to the stage, starring in Kenneth Lonergan's play Hold On To Me, Darling at the Off-Broadway Atlantic Theater Company.
Back to the stage.
He played Strings McCrane, a self-absorbed country singer and actor, a role that demanded both dramatic depth and comedic timing. Critics universally praised his performance.
How did they describe it?
Ben Brantley of the New York Times found him entertainingly irritating, yet profoundly human, highlighting his startling, bona fide sorrow in the play's final moving scene. Frank Rizzo of Variety called his performance a stunner, noting he struck just the right notes of guilelessness, obliviousness, and narcissism.
This re-engagement with live theater beautifully highlighted his deep theatrical roots and his skill in delivering complex, character-driven performances in an intimate setting, proving that his stage abilities were as sharp as ever.
Following his stage triumph, he then co-starred with Drew Barrymore in the Netflix horror comedy Santa Clarita Diet, also serving as an executive producer on the series.
Ah, yes, the zombie comedy.
This seems like a perfect blend of his dramatic intensity, that underlying menace, and his proven comedic timing, a genre he clearly enjoys.
But for many fans, the real joy, the true renaissance, came with his much-anticipated return to beloved characters, a testament to the enduring power of his most iconic roles.
The Santa Clarita Diet series ran for 3 seasons, allowing him to explore a unique and quirky genre blend, navigating the absurdities of horror and comedy with effortless charm.
It further showcased his ability to lead a show in a distinct and unconventional space, proving his versatility extended to the burgeoning streaming world.
But you're absolutely right. For many longtime fans, the real delight was the chance to revisit his most iconic characters, seeing them brought back to life with the gravitas only he could provide.
Yes, Seth Bullock.
Exactly. He reprised Sheriff Seth Bullock in Deadwood, the movie in 2019, which brought a definitive and critically acclaimed conclusion to that beloved Western saga, earning an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Television Movie.
A fitting end.
And perhaps most anticipated of all, the return of Raylan Givens in the 2023 miniseries Justified, City Primeval.
Raylan rides again.
And what's particularly poignant and genuinely fascinating about this revival is that his real-life daughter, Vivian, played Raylan's daughter on screen.
Oh, that's lovely. Full circle again.
Isn't it? This raises an important question for us, the audience, about the beautiful and complex convergence of personal and professional life and the enduring power of these iconic roles that can transcend generations, blending an actor's real-world identity with their fictional legacy.
It's a remarkable evolution for both the character and the actor. Really special.
And then in 2020, he made a huge splash, not just in Hollywood, but across the entire galaxy by joining the Star Wars universe.
Oh yeah, this was big news.
Appearing as the Marshal Cobb Vanth in The Mandalorian, a role he later reprised in the Book of Boba Fett. This was a major moment for fans of both Olyphant and the galaxy far, far away.
It felt like a perfect, almost destined fit, didn't it?
This was indeed a major, globally impactful moment, further expanding his reach into one of the most beloved and immensely popular franchises on Earth.
His character, Cobb Vanth, a marshal on the desolate desert planet of Tatooine, who famously wears Boba Fett's iconic armor. It felt like such a natural, almost fated extension of his established lawman persona.
Totally. He brought that familiar, grounded, compelling, and understated presence to even fantastical world, resonating deeply with Star Wars fans who instantly recognized and appreciated his unique brand of rugged heroism and moral ambiguity.
It's a testament to his ability to adapt his signature style to vastly different genres and universes while maintaining an unwavering sense of authenticity.
And beyond this, his recent years have seen him in numerous diverse projects.
He's been busy.
Yeah, including the ensemble romantic comedy Mother's Day, Oliver Stone's controversial biographical thriller Snowden, lending his distinctive voice to the stop-motion animated adventure Missing Link.
Missing Link was great fun.
A memorable appearance is the real-life actor James Stacy in Quentin Tarantino's acclaimed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the emotional drama, The Starling, the sports film National Champions, and the star-studded period mystery Amsterdam.
Quite the eclectic mix.
And looking ahead, he's slated for a main role in the highly anticipated FX series Alien, Earth, further demonstrating his continuous diverse output and truly highlighting his enduring appeal and remarkable versatility across all forms of media, from indie films to global blockbusters.
Away from the intense glare of the cameras and the demands of film sets, his personal life reveals even more intriguing facets, showing he's not just the intense, brooding characters he so brilliantly plays.
Right. There's more to the man.
He married his college sweetheart, Alexis Neef, way back in 1991, and they have 3 children. It's a remarkably long-lasting relationship, a quiet anchor in the often turbulent seas of Hollywood.
What's truly fascinating here and paints a more complete picture of the man is his unwavering dedication to family and his continued, often surprising engagement in other deeply personal passions.
Like the radio gig.
Exactly. For example, from 2006 to 2008, he had a truly unique and wonderfully quirky gig. He became a sports reporter for Joe Escalante's morning radio show on Los Angeles' Indy 103.1.
A sports reporter. Seriously.
And this wasn't your typical polished broadcast journalism. He'd deliver his reports in this wonderfully unconventional, almost deadpan style, often just going off of what he vaguely recalled happened the day before, or sometimes hilariously, just reading directly from the newspaper, adding his own wry commentary.
That sounds hilarious. So perfectly Olyphant.
It's such a disarming image for an actor known for his intense dramatic roles. And to top it off, in a bizarre and utterly wonderful twist that only Los Angeles could produce,
Wait for it.
none other than the enigmatic film director David Lynch served as the show's weatherman.
No, David Lynch doing the weather, with Olyphant doing sports.
And you imagine that morning commute soundtrack, Olyphant on sports, Lynch on the forecast for Los Angeles? It speaks volumes about Timothy's comfort in his own skin, his willingness to embrace the unexpected, and his deeply grounded sense of humor, completely contrasting the often serious public perception of his acting.
That is just fantastic. Beyond that, he's also an avid tennis player, actively participating in pro-celebrity tournaments, showcasing that competitive spirit we saw in his swimming days.
Still got that drive.
And he's also a devoted fan of Los Angeles sports teams, particularly the Clippers and Dodgers, even throwing out a ceremonial first pitch at a Dodgers game in 2013 with a quiet confidence.
These details paint a picture of a well-rounded individual with diverse interests, firmly grounded in his personal life, a quiet anchor that likely fuels his ability to dive so deeply into the intense public personas he brings to the screen. What an incredible journey we've taken today, truly peeling back the layers of a remarkable career. From a nationally ranked competitive swimmer with Vanderbilt lineage to a respected and versatile actor who's played everything from a charming Christmas elf to a space marshal enforcing order on a distant planet.
Quite the range.
Timothy Olyphant's path has been anything but predictable. We've seen how he bravely turned down a massive franchise that went on to become a global phenomenon, how he embraced the nuanced bad guy roles that allowed him to hone his unique screen presence,
How he found his defining lawman in Raylan Givens.
and even how he returned to finish a college degree 3 decades later. His career is a testament to authenticity, versatility, and a quiet, persistent pursuit of compelling work, always, it seems, on his own terms.
This raises an important question for you, the listener, to consider. In a world often obsessed with instant fame, quick blockbusters, and the pitfalls of typecasting, what can Timothy Olyphant's journey teach us about the value of playing the long game? What lessons can we draw from his career about embracing diverse roles, even the financially motivated ones, and allowing your craft to evolve and deepen organically over time? Ultimately, his story suggests that a career built on integrity, continuous growth, and a genuine connection to the material can lead to a more enduring and respected legacy than simply chasing the brightest spotlight.
It's a powerful lesson in resilience, self-direction, and maybe the quiet satisfaction of a life well lived, both on and off the screen.